everyone, it's Jeff again. I would like to talk about the area that I live in, its history, and the fact that its history is much less complicated than, say, the history of London or the history of Sussex. You see, we are missing entire eras, like the Industrial Revolution. You see, the area that I live in was not even colonized until after the Industrial Revolution. People weren't even here until around 1850, 1860. So for somebody like me, the Middle Ages doesn't even come into my conscious thinking like somebody from England or from France would. Until the Wilderness Road opened and the Cumberland Gap, people were stuck on the East Coast. Westward expansion didn't happen until the Erie Canal was dug and the Cumberland Gap was discovered. The real western expansion didn't take place until Horace Greeley, the newspaperman, wrote his famous essays about manifest destiny and about man's need to expand and go west. For someone like me, my history starts when my great-great-grandmother came west from Virginia, walking behind a covered wagon. They went to Rockport, Missouri, to begin a new life. And that basically is where my history started. Can you imagine carrying everything you own in a Conestoga wagon and pointing it west? The Scammon family came here in 1850 after finding gold in the California Gold Rush of 1849 and founded a small town in this valley. They called it Montesano after it was suggested by one of the settlers, which means Mountain of Health. It got fairly organized in 1889, and on the 26th of November of 1889, it was incorporated into a town. A small courthouse was built to take care of city business, and that lasted until 1915, when a much more substantial courthouse was built when Montesano became the county seat, which is where all of the county's business was taking place. That courthouse still remains today. The early pioneers came in search of the massive trees that they had been told about, and they weren't disappointed. The early pioneers loved taking pictures of these massive trees because people didn't believe them. When the San Francisco earthquake hit in 1903, it was mostly rebuilt from lumber that was harvested from Grays Harbor, Washington. There was also an abundance of salmon in the rivers, and because they were relatively easy to catch, that was a resource that was exploited to its fullest. Canneries sprang up all along the rivers and inlets in this area, and they canned salmon that was sent all over the world. The canneries are all gone now, but they were instrumental in this area being settled. The history of this area lacks the rich and deep history that other places enjoy, but we were just a bunch of people coming and settling a new area, and were hopeful of a better life. There was no Norman conquest. There was no plagues. We had no Henry VIII. There are no Roman baths to be found. I'm just someone sitting here in Montesano, Washington, thinking about someone who walked all the way from Virginia to Rockport, Missouri. And that person would be Viola E. Plasters, who died the 17th of March, 1886. And she is my distant relative from way back when that walked all the way across America. And she is the beginning of my history. Be good to one another, do good deeds, think good thoughts, and I will see you again.